So my session was on science teachers and space. That was my session. And basically, we just talked about what that might look like and how we can get more folks connected with NASA, get more folks connected with places like the Planetary Society and things like that. And a couple of things came out of this. Of course, Matt Fratt, he came in and dropped these bombs. He dropped these bombs on us, talking about Mars, talking about Elon Musk and SpaceX, talking about the eclipse, and we talked a little bit about water on Saturn. But the piece of this that I want to talk about that we spent maybe the last 20 minutes on, I want to talk about this idea of ethical implications with science and space. And what are some ethical implications when you mine and when you send folks into space? It's free game. It's open season. It's the wild, wild west. Literally, it is the wild, wild west because no one's out there. There are no inhabitants. There are no humans who are living there that we know of, anyways. And so, what are some ethics that goes into that, right? So you want to go out there, and the question that I had was something around the idea of mining for minerals on Earth. On Mars. And what does that look like? What does it look like to be able to mine for minerals on Mars? And what type of minerals are we going to find? And what type of resources, natural resources, are we going to find to bring back to Earth? Maybe. Right? We also talked about living on Earth on Mars and what that would be like. Thinking about the natural disasters that they may have. Maybe there are earthquakes on Mars. We don't know. We don't know these things. Or maybe they do. Maybe all this information is out there published that I don't know about. And if they are, please let me know so I can, read and research. But, we don't know these things. And how do we set up rules on Mars? And so I kind of want to talk about kind of this idea of natural resources. And this idea of natural resources and how to get natural resources. And when you get the natural resources, who controls it? Who owns those natural resources? Right? Let's say there was a gold equivalent on Mars and someone tapped into that gold equivalent and someone shot their rocket up to Mars, and by shooting their rocket up to Mars, they own the space and they own all the resources not for free because they have to shoot the rocket up there, but they own it. Right? And so what does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. But a very interesting thing that we talked about. Hey, Kristen, I'm recapping all the stuff that I did that we talked about, right? And the last piece of our conversations when we talked about the connection with the classrooms. And I had a good friend of mine, Leticia Citizens. She's a elementary school teacher out here in Southern California, and she was talking to me about this idea of mystery Skypes. I think that's what it is. Mystery Skypes. How to connect classrooms with other classrooms. And this is what I got excited about. Kristen, I don't know if you heard it in my voice, but I got very excited about this. I got very excited about this idea of connecting classrooms around these ethical science questions and having students from different parts of the country, different parts of the world discussing these things, these ethical issues with space and science, right? So I can imagine Kristen is in Tennessee. Am I getting this right, Kristen? You're in Tennessee. Kristen is in Tennessee, and I'm in California. And can you imagine getting a classroom in Tennessee, a classroom in California? Yes, classroom in Tennessee, classroom in California, and us connecting together around ethical issues with space and science. Totally connected to standards, totally connected with what the teacher is already doing, but adding this extra layer of presenting. And not just presenting to present to the teacher, right? That's one piece of it. But presenting to another class in another part of the world or another part of the country. Now that adds a new layer of relevancy to what the students are learning. And I love that. A new layer of relevancy. I absolutely love that, because now the students know, oh man, I'm presenting to someone in Tennessee. Like, someone in Tennessee is really caring about what I have to say about my learning and my learning environment. Wow, I better pay attention in class. I better make sure I'm tight. I better make sure that all my stuff is in order. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I got to give a big shout out to Leticia Citizens, because she talked to me about this idea and she's been doing it. She has a database of teachers already in her wheelhouse. And whenever she needs a teacher to reach out to do these mystery Skypes, she reaches out to these teachers, and she has a list of teachers that she can already work with. That is awesome. I love that. I love that. So, so now we also talked about how to get NASA involved in the classroom, how to get the Planetary Society involved in the classroom. And this is it. They can provide the content for the students. The teacher provides the content through reading and conversations, but then the NASA professionals, global connection is amazing. I got to do mastery Skypes in schools. Yes, that would have been so cool. I agree with you. I agree with you, Kristen. That would have been so cool to actually being a science. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Being a science nerd that I am, being someone who loves science, if I could have done a global, I think this is what you were alluding to, Kristen, if I could have done something like this, a mystery Skype in high school, how much more valuable would that have been? Even in college, right? Talking to other people. Kristen, I think, Kristen, you have an environmental science background. I also have an environmental science background. But to be able to talk environmental science, I went to school, undergrad in Oregon. But to be able to talk to like someone at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or even I think South Dakota has an Institute of Technology, or even Caltech, and be able to talk about our research, what we're doing, would have been so awesome, right? So that this isn't K-12, but this can really push out to higher ed. Wow, so a lot said there. So being able to talk about and Matt Fratt said this, very timely science topics that are relevant to right now, being able to have students make these presentations to other students and to be able to get feedback is so awesome. It is. And you know, science really works. And thank you for all you guys who are jumping in, who are listening to the scope. But science really works in silos. That's what we do. We work in silos at the K-12 level and sometimes at the higher ed level, right? Think about it. If you're a physics student, you don't really talk to students in chemistry. You don't really talk to the engineering folks. You don't really talk to marketing people. You don't talk to a lot of, you just do things in your lane. Only when we get out of the formal educational space do we find the value in a physicist and a chemist coming together to work on a project. But we don't do it in higher ed, and we certainly don't do it in K-12, and we certainly don't do it at the high school level where the science teacher is just next door, right? So the chemistry teacher teaches here, and the physics teacher teaches there, and there's nothing that connects the two classrooms. So this is a perfect way to do it. And as a physics teacher, I would love to have a project, thermal energy, right? Have a physics classroom present the energy implications to going to Mars. Oh my gosh. A chemistry classroom presenting the chemistry implication going to Mars. Oh my gosh. And them learning from one another. And them being able to put on their physics hats, their chemistry hats, and put those together. That would be a fantastic experience. Right? That would be a fantastic experience. Oh my gosh. There's so much to do with this. So my takeaways. specifically, and thank you, Kristen, for your contribution to this. I don't think you woke up today knowing that you'd be on Periscope and that you would be contributing to this fabulous experience. But these mystery Skypes, this idea of mystery Skypes, and how do we get mystery Skypes going? And I'm going to reach out to my girl, Leticia, and try to get that going. I'm so fascinated. Me too. This is great. This is fantastic. How to get this idea of mystery Skypes going, and maybe having her. I think she has fifth graders. Yeah, I think she does fourth or fifth grade, and I have some sixth graders. So maybe we can have a space unit, and I can have her talk space unit, and I can have my sixth grade teachers talk space unit. I'll make a note of this. This is good. This is good. Space units. This is good. And then we can like mystery Skype one another, and they can present, like the fifth grade class can present to the sixth grade class, sixth grade class can present to the fifth grade class, and we do it all through Skype. What? Yes, space unit, integrate. Okay, so I'm thinking as I'm doing this scope, so bear with me here. Integrate space and presentations. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then we can even get and Leticia, I'm planning with you, and you're not here, but you don't know this, but you and I are going to do this together. Oh, okay. What do I do? Okay, Tatul and Toya. I work here in the Los Angeles area. Matt Fratt, what's going on, sir? Work in the Los Angeles area. I work for a nonprofit organization called Los Angeles Education Partnership, and we work with schools specifically to do to make it brief, and because we do a lot of stuff in schools, but we work on curriculum and curriculum design and really relationship building and capacity building of schools to implement a lot of these curricular things. So my area is working with schools around science, and specifically I work with 2 schools, actually 4 schools. 4 schools this year, maybe 5 as needed, but specifically working with science teachers to implement these innovative strategies in their classrooms so they can see science and instruction in a meaningful way, empowering youth, giving youth rationale for why they come to school every day, why they learn every day, and making just high quality instruction in the classroom. That's my thing. And makerspaces and integrating makerspaces. Yes, nonprofit Los Angeles Education Partnership, short LAEP, Los Angeles Education Partnership. And maybe next time I can put them up here next to my graphic. So yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. So and getting in the classroom, working with teachers, and creating these network of teachers together who do this same type of work. And that's why I'm really interested in getting the Planetary Society on board to do this global look at space and space instruction. So that's what I do. Nothing happening in Tennessee yet, but you know what? It just takes one, Kristen. It takes just one, and it takes one partnership. So who knows? Maybe we can do some things. Okay, integrating space science and connect with a classroom. Okay, so that is it. I want to give another big shout out to my author group. I think it's Aspiring Authors Group on Voxer, and the conversation that we had today. Or let's just make some connections. Let's make some connections. When a nonprofit starts up, Kristen, you'll have a reason for it, but let's just make the connections. We're here. You're on Voxer, on Periscope, on Twitter. I'm on Voxer, Periscope, Twitter. So let's just make it happen. One classroom at a time. One connection at a time. I don't know. So Aspiring Authors on Voxer, I want to give you guys a big shout out because you guys gave me this impetus to do this. There is this idea of blogging and vlogging. Matt Fratt is still on here. Vlogging and using this platform to do my vlogging. Restream.io, I'm going to check that out. So thanks you guys for watching. Kristen, thank you so much for the conversation we had today. brought up a lot of really good stuff for me. And so yes, so connecting with classrooms, integrating space and presentation, so allowing kids to present meaningful information to other classrooms, and planning that. What does that look like? Yes. And yes, I'm going to upload this on my YouTube channel. And I think this is going to be my new platform for sharing my thoughts. Thank you for retweeting. Thank you guys for jumping on board. And I don't have the date for the next Pass the Scope. We are putting that together. I think the theme is going to be Bounce Back. Next month's theme is going to be Bounce Back. I told someone it was formation, but nope, it's Bounce Back. And what does that look like? So I'm really excited about that. I haven't thought about what I'm going to talk about yet in terms of bounce back, but follow the hashtag Pass the Scope EDU. Every month we have some impactful things going on. Follow the educators on Pass the Scope EDU. They are doing some phenomenal scoping. We're planning some real good things these upcoming months and this upcoming year, leading us back to ISTE next year, 2018, in good old Chicago, the Chi. And thank you very much for jumping on my scope. And I hope you guys have a fantastic Saturday. And I've been off of my weather game because everywhere is nice and hot. It's nice and warm today. I have Heidi Carr, who we might be going to the zoo with. I think she's there already. So I've got to see if the zoo is in my future. So you guys have a great day. And thank you so much for hopping on my scope.